and welcome to the Cobra Shop at Birchwood Junior High in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. Today we are going to learn about the drill press. So the drill press is a terrific tool to have in your workshop. It is fairly safe, but as any tool, there are hazards that we are going to walk through and figure out how this machine operates. The main goal of the drill press is to drill a perfectly 90-degree hole into your stock or wood. Sometimes we refer to stock or your piece of wood as stock. So here we have a nice piece of white oak. The parts of the drill press are pretty explanatory. We have our tabletop right here. We have, at this part here, we have our chuck. We have our handle that goes up and down, our on and off switch. And on the side here, we have a guard, but it's not installed yet. I will put that on after I do this video. So the guard will only operate if it's closed. You're going to hear that clicking sound. That means that it will fully operate. We have a light on the side. What else do we have? So the drill press operates on a pulley system. The pulleys are under this cap here. I have it set to the perfect tension, so we will not have to take this apart when you're using it to drill certain holes. You may need a different speed, but it's set for what we need it for using primarily softwoods. The first thing we want to do when we come to the drill press is we want to make sure that our tabletop is clear and clean from any junk or material. So if we're coming up to the drill press and we see a bunch of stuff on here, we want to clear it off. A clean shop is a safe shop, so we don't need to be tripping over anything. We want to make sure that we have our eye protection on. When we come up to the drill press, you want to grab me the thumb. It's just in that white cabinet there. And, oh, thank you. We'll put our safety eyeglasses on. We want to make sure that we have no strings hanging down, because once this starts spinning, part is called the chuck. It can easily get wrapped around your hoodie string and force your face into this table, which is what we don't want to do. Your sleeves, we like to keep them rolled back, and we want our hair pulled back, just like any machine that we use. We want to make sure that we're properly dressed for the occasion. Here we have a couple bits that are primarily used for the drill press. These are called Forstner bits, which create different size holes. They come in different dimensions. And then we have our drill bit set, which will also give you a perfectly straight hole. So we have our two drill bits. We will select our drill bit. And just like a regular drill, this is the chuck. We have our drill bit. It goes into the chuck. You may have to loosen it depending on the size of your bit. And when we're operating it, we want to make sure, it's going the wrong way, that when we put our drill bit in, we have to make sure that it's perfectly straight in the chuck, because if it's turned on the side, when you turn it on, it's not going to spin properly. So we put it all the way up into the chuck, then we pull it down just 1/8 of an inch, and we tighten it. And then we go ahead and we grab our chuck key. Every drill press has a chuck key. So you can see the teeth right here on the drill press. The chuck key slides into the hole, and then we turn it to the left with the teeth. No, we're turning it to the right until we get a nice firm lock. And we'll test it to make sure it's not wobbling and is perfectly going straight. And here we go. Our bit looks secure. We have no debris, and we're ready to rock and roll. underneath the tabletop here, I just have this is a sacrificial fence, which means that we can drill through it and into holes into it. Because what we don't want to do is, this drill press has a cast iron top. We don't want to drill into this because that's going to dull and ruin our drill bit. So we like to keep a sacrificial fence on here. I will like to clamp it or secure it with bolts. So we'll just take a quick clamp and we'll clamp it down. I'm just going to grab another one real quickly. And we'll come back over here. So now that our sacrificial fence is secured to the top, over here on the side we have little washers that will allow your stop to go as far or as deep into your material as you'd like. We want to make sure that this is not going to go through our sacrificial fence and into the tabletop of cast iron. So you can adjust it on the side here. I like to just put it down 1/8 of an inch lower than the workpiece. Okay. And then I tighten these bolts together. So when the vibration of the machine starts working, it's not going to move. So now everything is looking good. We will grab a piece of stock of scrap. Here we have a piece of pine, white pine. So I'm going to put it down here. I'll put my safety goggles on before I use my piece of equipment. Small stock like this, what I like to do is I like to clamp it to the table, because sometimes when we're using the drill press, we can lose control and it will spin out of control. If that happens, we hit the stop button. We never want to stop the drill press with anything other than the stop button. We don't use our hand or anything like that. So small stock, we always like to clamp it. So I'll clamp that down. And when we're using the drill press, our stock is always flat on the table. Just like any piece of equipment, we keep our stock flat. So it's going to go ahead and turn it on here. And I like to use an extra hand just to make sure it's pressed firmly in the table. And then we slowly go down. It's not a race. You don't have to hammer it down real quickly, just nice and slow. Sometimes I'll blow it up and I'll just kind of, just so I can see what I'm doing. And as soon as you get towards the end of the piece of wood, you'll hear it go through. Right there. And now I'm into the top of the table. And so I'll pull it up. I'll wait for it stops before I grab my piece of stock. I'll loosen my clamp. And away I go. I'll take my material and set it down. As you can see right here, our hole didn't go all the way through. So what I need to do is I need to go back over here to our little nuts, and then you gotta loosen it, and I gotta loosen this one back so it'll be go through, and we'll readjust. So I'll line this up again, fit it in here. We'll take our clamp and clamp it to the table so it's secure. Line that up again. And then we'll turn it on again. And there we go. And we'll loosen up the drill press. And now we have our perfectly straight 90-degree hole, because the fence to the chuck is a perfect 90-degree hole. If we were going to use a drill, a regular drill, which can do the exact same thing, it's a lot harder to keep our drill at 90 degrees, because sometimes we want to move left to right. It's a lot harder. This will allow us to put a perfect straight hole in. If we wanted to insert a dowel into the hole, we know that's going to be perfect. this angle here to here is 90 degrees. If I use my drill and I'm off by a degree or two, we're going to get an angle. Okay, so that's why this is a terrific tool for drilling straight, square holes. I guess they wouldn't be square, but we get the idea. So this is a great tool if it's used properly. And again, this is a tool where we only want one person at it at a time. When you're finished, you grab your broom, we sweep up, and we clean up the floor so there is no safety concerns for the next person who wants to use the machine. So today in the Cobra Wood Shop, we talk about the drill press, and we'll go through maybe a few points. We always want to make sure that our small workpieces are clamped down. We want to make sure that we're dressed appropriately. Nothing can get caught up in the handle or the chuck. We have one person at a time. We have our on and off switch. And we have our light. And back here, if you had a thicker piece of stock, so right now I have this piece of stock, which is only right here, this is an inch. But if we had a bigger piece of stock, let's just say for example, we put these two on top, that's not going to fit. On the side here, we have a lever that locks. So we're going to unloosen the lever, and this is going to lower the table to the height we need. So I'm going to raise it right here. That looks good. And then we lock it in. And then we are good to go if our stock should be thicker than what we have here. So today in the Cobra Wood Shop, we learned about the drill press, how to use it. If you do want to use it, make sure you ask your instructor's permission, which is me. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Cobra Shop out.